Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry Collection, and Fine Anime, a devotional for otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I will leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Oh my goodness, happy Friday, my friends. I'm so excited for this video. Oh my goodness, I finished this manga series last night and it is so good. You know, I feel like I always say this, but like I'll have a series on my shelf, I'll wait a year, and then I finally read it. I'm like, why did I wait so long to start it? This is one of those series, guys. This is one of those series I should have picked up. I should have read it right after I ordered it from Right Stuff. I believe I ordered it last summer when there was a deal on Shojo manga. But in case if you're curious about what that manga is, it is Honey So Sweet. Oh my goodness. It is so sweet. Like, it genuinely is. And oh my goodness. Just look at the front or first cover for volume 1. It is adorable. It is adorable. Like, I don't even know what words like one could even use to describe this series outside of using like cute, adorable, sweet, like all of it, because it is just so sweet. Like, hands down, like there's not any other word that just reflects how adorable this series is. And I am like just so pumped to talk about this series today. I'm going to do my best to keep it spoiler free, and I'm thinking I might focus more on the characters so that I'm not spoiling the ending or anything like that for anybody. Though I know there is one volume that, yes, I might, no, I won't say spoilers. I'm gonna tell myself that now. No spoilers for this video because I really want people to just be able to read Honey So Sweet and appreciate it and not be like, Laura, gee, thanks, you just spoiled the ending for us, you know, because nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So the covers, as you guys can see, are super adorable. They are so precious. Like, this couple deserves to be protected, like, with everything. But in case you're not familiar with Honey So Sweet, it is about our two main characters, Nao Kogure and then Taiga Onise. I had to think about his name for a second because I forgot for a moment. But it's about these two, and in middle school, I believe, Naho comes across Taiga in the rain. He just got beaten up and he is he's not knocked out, but she's like really afraid of him because his hair has been like not bleached, it's red when she first meets him, I believe. I don't know, it might have been blonde at that time. But he looks like, and I've like tried saying this word 3 times over now. I'm gonna try and say it slow. I'm so sorry if I say it wrong. I'm like, I don't know why I can't say this word. Delinquent. But that's what he looks like because he has piercings and then he has the dyed hair. So she's like really afraid of him. But then now he approaches Naho in high school. He's like, will you date me with marriage in mind? And so is he like super scary or is like he actually really sweet? And as you guys probably can see, he looks super sweet. On all of the covers, he looks just totally adorable. And this series basically is their relationship from the beginning all the way to volume 8. So this is a shoujo series where you are seeing them already a couple the whole series, which is so very nice. And I was really happy with how things unfolded as the series progresses. You do have some things that come in that I did not like, and I will be talking about those things. They're not bad, but I feel like the manga just did such an amazing job where she wrote this very wholesome and very sweet couple. You just get really upset when anybody tries to interfere with them. Like, the writing was so incredibly good. Like, there's no love triangles or anything like that, but just the, I guess, like, lessons that the main couple learns and it helps them grow closer was very impactful in my opinion. Like, it definitely impacted me and I was just like, wow, like this is such a great and fantastic manga, and seeing how trust in one another and how love grows, and like I said, just trust was really inspiring and really amazing. Like, I really just love this couple so very much. And the times that I got frustrated, it was the times like, can you please just leave my ship alone and let them be in their own lovey-dovey world and just let that ship sail with no problems, nothing interfering whatsoever. Like, those are the times that I got really mad because somebody's trying to interfere with the ship, and I'm like, just leave them be. Just leave them be. Granted, I learned something through that, you have life storms, you have life challenges, and everything is not smooth sailing, like, not even in fiction. I feel like sometimes fiction shows how true that really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see characters all the time go through struggles, and it, like, can break us. Well, at least for me, I should say. It can break our hearts, and we're like, I wish things were so much easier. And Nao actually even mentioned in, like, one point of this series that she's like, I wish I just didn't have to worry about this. Life would be so much easier. And I took a screenshot of that because that just really resonated with me, and that was at a very pivotal time for her when she really starts growing. And I mean, you see gradual, like, growth through her in this series, but you definitely see that growth in volume 7 and volume 8 as well. Like, she's very much a steady and calm character, and a lot of different characters talk about just how sweet she is, how caring she is. She has a big heart, and she really does. And sometimes I wonder if people think that she's boring at all because she does not have, like, this blatant character growth on page. But, like, I never thought she was boring. I actually thought she was really, really relatable. And when you're reading the first volume, she proclaims that she basically loves, like, her uncle, which can be definitely awkward because then you're like, oh man, are we going to have a weird, awkward family romance? Which it's not it. And I never felt that way in volume 1, just to make that clear. I felt that, and it is cleared up in this volume, but I felt that when she says that she loves her uncle, in a, like, I guess, in a romantic way, I felt that she was just so grateful for what her uncle has done for her that she felt that she was confused and that she didn't realize, like, hey, this is not a romantic love. Like, what you're feeling for him is just a deep, overwhelming gratitude, and you love him so much because he's cared for you all through these years. Because when she was younger, she lost her parents, and so her uncle takes care of her for all this time. And her uncle is an amazing character. I really liked him. He's actually on the back of here. He has some really good character growth in this series as well. It's definitely much more low-key because he's not the main character. But I do love seeing him sort of gradually just step out of his shell, so to speak. Like, really? Him and Nao, they really just change. And it's like a positive change. It's a slow change over the series. And maybe it would seem like, well, they really didn't change much at all. But by the end, yes, I feel like they are more outspoken, that they share their feelings more. And they have a great, I don't know if it's plot or story. I don't want to say which volume it's in, but there was a point where they get into an argument and it was so good. Like, I loved just how Taiga he's in their lives, and he's such a great guy, guys. He's such a great guy. And just how he helps them to be more straightforward and more clear about what they're feeling and telling the other person that. And, like, while the uncle doesn't actually, like, really share his feelings with Taiga like that, like a confident, still, he trusts Taiga, and there's things with that were really, really good. I can't say spoilers, but that was another excellent scene, especially in the last volume. I really, really, really loved that. But back to our main girl. I loved her. I thought her extremely relatable in how she wants to make others happy, and just when good things happen to her, especially like in her relationship with Taiga, and how he just really, I feel like, just blesses her really. And she talks about how much, there's one point in one of the volumes where she talks about how much of a miracle it is to find someone who returns your feelings and loves you. And I feel that is such a huge part of this series because, of course, you have to have some love rivals trying to come in and try and upset my ship here. You know, I feel like that's just a staple of Shojo manga, but that's okay. That's okay. Our ship is okay. But she talks about that and, finding someone that loves you and how it's been a miracle. And I just feel like that really plays a role through the whole series. And I just love how steady she is and how near the end she really just came out and wanted to support her uncle and say thank you to him, and then the things that she does for Taiga, and even when she feels like she's being mean or selfish, which is very rare, to be honest, and I do not think she was being mean, like, whatsoever. Like, girl, I would have said the same thing, so you go, girl. But even when she's saying those things, I feel like it just comes from such an honest place, and a place that doesn't want to hurt the other person or, you know, be disliked by them. Like, she really means it from a kind-hearted place, I feel. I have talked so much about her, so let's talk about our main dude, who is one of the sweetest characters ever. Like, I mean, yes, as a couple, hands down, sweetest couple I have ever read. I mean, the only one I feel that maybe is rivaling it a little bit would be A Sign of Affection, like Yuki. Oh my goodness, that girl is just incredibly sweet and wholehearted and precious, needs to be protected. But Taiga he is a one-of-a-kind male hero, hands down. And I was actually sort of surprised, like, when I got to volume 8 and I'm reading the afterword, and the manga mentions how she wanted him to have more heroic qualities, and I was shocked. I was like, he is a hero. He is a different kind of hero who really, I mean, he's so precious. He is so precious. Like, he has such a big heart. And seeing his transformation from volume 1 to volume 8 was a one-of-a-kind experience, and it was one of the most beautiful and wholesome things I've read. Like, there were times that I was really frustrated with Taiga, and I will tell you, okay, I internally ranted and sometimes just ranted out loud to myself, okay? As embarrassing as that is to admit, but I needed to get those feelings out there. But I was like, I wish that Yo from High School Debut would have just come up in this manga and just talk to them. Like, please, like, do not smile so adorably at the opposite sex, or do not be super helpful to them so that they won't accidentally start having feelings for you because you're just being you and being so kind. Taiga is amazing, but he's also a little bit dense in that, and I mean that in the most sweetest way. Like, that is not a bash against him at all. It makes him who he is. And I just love how giving his heart was, and how he really just had this huge heart to make his girl happy and have friends and just show people that he's not this, like, super villain, because a lot of people say that he is. And he's really not this troublemaker kid. Yes, his hair is dyed. Yes, he wears earrings, but there's so much more to him, and this manga really testifies to the truth that you should not judge people by appearance, because, like, Taiga looks like he would be this bad kid and, like, that doesn't study and doesn't care about people, but he really loves animals and he studies all the time. He doesn't miss class. He's very supportive of friends. In fact, there were times where he just showed, I felt like, grace to this one guy, and I'm like, no. You know, maybe that is so wrong for me to say, but I was just like, Taiga, you are too precious. You are too good for these characters at times. And even this girl, man, she was the same way. Like, there were times where I'm just like, no, like, I don't know if I was in your shoes, if I could be friends with these certain people after the decisions they make and how it affected our main couple. Like, no. Just no. They shouldn't have done it. But, you know, it was very convicting for me in that. And I do want to talk about the actual dude. And then this guy here, let's talk about him. Budami. Oh, oh my goodness. This is volume 2, this is volume 3. 2 and 3. Volumes 2 and 3. I did not like him. Oh my goodness. He just said things that made me really upset. And I'm like, you need to take your curiosity and you need to go elsewhere with it. You just need to get out the picture. But I'm going to say just how awesome the manga is. When I got to volume 7, my view completely changed of him. Yes, he is still himself. I saw what Taiga saw in him in saying that he is a good guy. And Fudami really came through. He really came through in volume 7. And he, despite what he does sometimes, and despite how he makes me upset, because he really is, like, when you first meet him, he is so sweet. Like, he's a really great guy. And I love how outgoing he is, how caring he is. And, you know, of him just saying, I'm really not that great of a guy. And then him doing things, I'm like, yeah, you were right. You're really not that great of a guy. But anyway, volume 7, it had a lot of things that I didn't like story-wise because it interfered with my ship. but my whole view of him changed in Volume 7, and I gave Volume 7 a 5 stars because of that. Like, yes, he does something, but he does a lot of good things, and at the end of the day, he really knows how to push our main girl, and I just appreciate that. Like, she needed that push, and he was there, and I was just so thankful. At the end of the day, I was thankful he was in this series. I didn't dislike him by the end. I was happy he was there. I was happy how he became one of the friends in, their group. He was a very realistic character, and I was just glad that he was there. But let's talk about somebody else now that we talked about him and just how my view changed. I feel so embarrassed now, saying that, I didn't like him at all in the, when we first met, I liked him, but then, when things are going on, especially during the sports festival, I was like, I don't really like him, and then at the end, I like him. And I think it's funny, mangakas that, I feel like there's a few of them, I can't even think of them off the top of my brain right now, but I feel like, that they've changed my mind about that character. I'm like, I don't like this character. And then, Kimi ni Todoke was a very good example of that. There were, one or two girls like that. So that's always awesome to have that surprise, even though I'm like, I should have just liked him from the get-go. But, of course, our main couple here, they are super lovey-dovey, and let's talk about their romance real fast before I talk about some other characters in this manga. Dude, I totally agree with another character when he's like, they are just so lovey-dovey in their own little world, and they really are. And Taiga is amazing in that he is one of the few characters ever that I have seen in fiction, whether it's manga or novels, regardless of genre, he says that he wants to save his first kiss for his wedding day, and I was shocked. I mean, shocked. He really meant it. He didn't say it on a whim. He really felt that way. And, obviously he has some very good values personally in his own heart for him to approach Nao and say, I want to date you with marriage in mind, because you definitely don't see that a lot in general, there's not always that idea of okay, we're dating, but this is much more than just a fling or something like that. And so I feel like because Taiga has these beliefs and these values in his heart, that it made the romance just even sweeter. They get embarrassed, even when they hug and just when they hold hands. And it is the cutest and most precious thing. They just stay who they are, and they trust each other. They love each other with all they have, and they really try to be the best that they can, but also be there and support one another despite sometimes how they feel, which of course does cause issues at times, because even if your feelings, you may not like them and they feel more negative, you still should be honest. And there's a great thing that happens with that I love that. Now, talking about some of the other characters, this is Yashiro, and there is another guy here, and his name is Misaki. I love these characters. Okay, let me change that. I did not like him at first, okay? I agree with the manga. He has a very sweet and precious face until he opens his mouth. He has a little bit of a potty mouth, and they cut out the bad words where they put the different symbols on it, which was really interesting to me because I had not seen that in manga. But Taiga sort of, I feel almost adopts him as a friend, and I loved seeing their friendship grow so much. And that even though Misaki does calm down a little bit on his anger, well, not even his anger, but his language, that he is still true to who he is, and he does grow a lot. And I was really impressed with some of the decisions that he makes, and he is so adorable when it comes to certain things. I would have not ever guessed that I would say that, but it was very sweet. And Yashiro, I feel embarrassed to talk about this one too, because when we first met her, I thought she was going to be the mean girl who was super beautiful and backstab our main girl. Wrong. She is extremely kind, and, well, maybe not extremely kind. I feel she is kind. She is sort of blunt at times, and she doesn't beat around the bush, but I thought she was just very nice. And her story, her backstory, I felt was just very real and comes off the page, and I just had such a heart for her. And now is so funny because she cries when she hears her backstory at times, and you know, as much as I love seeing my romance and seeing that romance like bloom and whatnot, I love deep, solid friendships in manga. And there were such great friendships. And Nao and Yashiro, their friendship was fantastic. I really, really loved it a lot. It was just so sweet, and seeing how, Yashiro's like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here for this group, which is how they meet in the beginning. And then seeing them by the end, it was so fantastic. And I can't say anything about her romance or like her love story, I guess, but that was very, very well done. And I liked sort of I want to say twist on it, but it's probably not a twist. I felt like it was just very true and accurate for her story, and really liked how that was done. All right, we're going to talk about one other character who was not my favorite. She's actually on the back here. Her name is Nishigaki, and she comes in, she definitely does stir some things. And that is when I really felt like when she does stir things, that it made me really just reflect on how beautiful a couple, our main couple is, and how, I know I've mentioned it quite a few times, I feel already, but just how important trust is in a relationship. And you just see the fullness through this series. You really, really do. I mean, even when things happen, that they still trust each other, and they're like, I'm going to believe that they won't cheat on me despite if they're alone with this person, not because they themselves would, but because of the other person. That was really good. And volume 7 is the one where now she really comes out of her shell, and she speaks her heart. But volume 7 just was so good, and just seeing how far our couple has come and how far this group of friends has come as well. It was very beautiful. Though I will say, for the last and final volume, I admit I came in with some expectations of like, okay, everything has calmed down since the incident that happened in the previous volume. So I'm like, we should get a lot of lovey-dovey moments. And we did not quite get as many as I wanted. And I do feel a little bit disappointed in that aspect, just because that is what I was hoping for. But I feel like as a whole, the ending was perfect. I feel that deep down, despite that I wanted a little bit something different, I feel it was most true and perfect for these characters. Like, I really, really feel that. Like, Volume 8 was different than I expected, but not in a bad way, and there was so much growth, and if anything, this was perfect for Taiga. Like, this would be him and just who he is, and really shows how great of a guy he is on so many levels. And even now, she grows a lot, but it was perfection, and I was really, really happy. By the end, I actually sort of went back to volume 1 after, like, a little bit after I read this one, to just see, where things started to where they are now, and it was perfect. It was so beautiful, and my heart felt so full. In fact, when I finished, I had butterflies in my stomach. My heart felt like it was floating. Everything about this volume was just so beautiful. And just as a whole, this series is precious. It is so good. And I'm like, more people need to know about this series, because it is amazing. And it's one of those precious gems, I feel like, in manga, where you can just see the beauty of love unfolding and what it means to, I feel like, almost be in a relationship, and how, like, you're in a relationship from, like, so the beginning of the series, and seeing their relationship grow and weather the storms, and that it is possible to be with somebody long term. Like, I did have like an internal question, I can't say what it is, about the end, but like, they're such a perfect couple. Maybe that it makes sense. And if you have read the series, totally let me know in the comments. I would love to chat with you about this, because it just was so really, really, really good. And that, my friends, I guess concludes my thoughts, my review of Honey So Sweet. It is an amazing series. The couple is absolutely perfect. Yes, they do things, but you know, they show what love is, the testament of love, the miracle of love. And if you really are just looking for a really sweet series, very pure, and has fun characters, has a great story, I highly, highly, highly recommend Honey So Sweet. And before I get real fast, the art is absolutely beautiful. It is just the cutest. I need more of this manga's work, and I did a mention of her in underrated authors because she has the cutest art style I have seen. Let me know, have you read Honey So Sweet? What are your thoughts? Who are some of your favorite characters? I would love to hear from you, friends. And if you haven't read Honey So Sweet, what are some of your most favorite, sweetest characters? I would love to hear all about them so I can go check them out too. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. Bye!